everyone, it's Mrs. LC. Today I'm coming to you with a special video about the parts of the ukulele. It's really important as you get started that you learn all of the parts and what their names are because I refer to them quite a bit as I'm teaching my everyday lessons. So I'm going to take you through the parts of the ukulele, and at the end of the video you'll take a quick quiz just to see if you can remember what they are. But before we get started, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please take just a second and click that subscribe button along with the bell for notifications so that you can continue to get updated content as it's posted. Time to get started with the parts of the ukulele. All right, here we go. The ukulele is divided into three main parts, and within each of the main parts there are little smaller parts within it. So I'm going to take you through the three main parts first. At the top we have what's called the head or the headstock, which is this whole piece of wood right here. Then we have the long part that comes all the way down, connecting the head right here. It's called the neck. And then we have this large part down at the bottom called the body. So we have head, neck, body. Okay. Now within the headstock, there are a couple of things that you need to know about. We have these little, on this case, little white knobs that we call tuners or tuning pegs. Either one is correct. And the tuners or tuning pegs are used, we turn them slightly when we're tuning the strings because the actual strings, which is the next part, are wrapped around the tuners. And if we have to tighten them or loosen them to keep them in tune, we need to use the tuning pegs. So you have your tuning pegs, you have your strings. Then you have this part right here, this white part at the top called the nut. Within the nut, there are 4 ridges that are carved into it where the strings actually sit inside of them so that they don't slide all over the fretboard. So you have what's called the nut right here. And then this part that goes all the way down on the front, it looks almost black in the video, but it's really a dark, dark brown. This is called the fingerboard or the fretboard. I usually call it the fretboard, but if you hear someone call it the fingerboard, it's the same thing. It's that dark piece that's underneath the strings that kind of goes all the way down to the very bottom here. So that is called the fretboard or the fingerboard. These actual pieces of metal that go across the fretboard are called the frets. And we refer to the frets when we're talking about where to put our fingers, which fret. So the parts that go flat across here that look like little stripes, these are all called frets. And then on my Luna ukulele, these little half moons, crescent moons, these are actually fret markers. And different manufacturers' fret markers look different. Usually they're just a circle, but on my case it looks a little bit different. But the little dots here, they are called fret markers. So you have the neck, you have the fretboard or the fingerboard that goes all the way down, you have the frets that go across, you have the fret markers that come down here in little dots, which takes us to the body. So on the body we have the sound hole. I'll come around here. The sound hole, this is where your sound is actually coming from. So when you're playing, you want to make sure that your sound hole is facing your audience. Some beginners, they tend to kind of angle it. They want to look down, but you don't want the sound coming back to you. You want the sound going out to your audience. So the sound hole faces out. You have this dark piece of wood right here called the bridge. And then you have this white piece right here called the saddle where the strings sit inside little ridges here to make sure that the tension stays tight on the strings. So you have the body, the sound hole, the bridge, and the saddle. Okay, so I'm going to quickly take you through all of those parts top to bottom, and then you're going to take your little quiz and see what you know. So we're going to start with the head or headstock, the tuning pegs or tuners, the strings, 4 of them, the nut, white piece right here, the fretboard, which goes all the way down, or fingerboard, the frets that go across the fretboard all the way down. The markers here are the fret markers, the body, the sound hole, the bridge, the saddle, And I don't think I said it, but the long piece here is the neck. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take the quiz, see what you remember. All right, it's time to see what you know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to point to a part of the ukulele, and I'm not going to give you the answer, but the answer is going to come up at the bottom of the screen, and then I will say if you're right or not, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start at the top. I'm going to go ahead and go in order to make it a little bit easier, okay? So right here, this big part right here is called the head or headstock. Excellent. Next, these four right here. Tuners or tuning pegs. Hopefully you got that one right. Next up, we have strings. We have 4 strings. Next, the nut. Very good, I hope, if you got it right. Then we have the long piece connecting the headstock is called the neck. Good job. Next up, we have the dark piece underneath the strings. Fretboard or fingerboard. Good. Next we have the metal pieces that go across. Frets. Hopefully you got that one right. Next we have these little symbols. Fret markers. And like I said, they don't always look the same on every model. Then we have the large wooden part at the bottom that is called the body. Hopefully you got that part right. And within the body we have 3 parts. We have the sound hole. Hopefully you got that one. We have the bridge. And last we have the white piece right here, which is called the saddle. And those are all of the parts of the ukulele. Hopefully you learned them. If you ever forget, you can always come back and reference this. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I can't wait to keep teaching you. I know you'll remember these. It doesn't take long. Have a great day, and I'll be back with more videos later.